Hey, everybody, it's time for another edition of Inside Lion Athletics. Hope you're all bundled up today because it's cold outside, but it's a good time for basketball weather. And the Lion men and women are going to be heading out. The women first, they take on the University of New Orleans in a big, big game. It's probably been a while since UNO's been in a big, big game, coach, but you got them a little bit of payback for when they slipped in here and got their first win of the year. All of a sudden, thanks to the last 2 weeks, your team is in the hunt for that final playoff spot.
Yeah, this is a big week for us, for the end of the season, for making the conference tournament. So, we've had some good practices. Our team knows where we stand. They know what we need to do, what we need to make happen. And it starts tomorrow night at New Orleans.
Privateers, when you look back at that film, what really put them in front at the end? What did we do that we should have been doing different?
I think our offense broke down. We weren't taking the best shots. We were taking quick shots. They pressure a lot on the defensive end. I think they took us out of what we wanted to do. And we had to go zone there for quite a bit, which got us back in the game. And then we kind of let a couple threes slip. And they took the lead there again. But I think just runs and being able to cap runs and not let them go to 10-0, 12-0, instead, a 6-0 run, and we can weather that storm.
You probably have seen everything you need to for them to get ready, but your team is playing so much differently than you were that month and a half ago. What's going to be a
Yeah.
different attack?
I think our mindset of being able to guard them. They play a super fast-paced game. They take quick shots when they have them. And then they're also able to slow down and set up some offense. So we've really got to dig into our game plan, really be able to pack it in the paint, take away a lot of layups, a lot of second chance points. They don't shoot it great. They make 4 or 5 threes a game. So, we still got to be able to contest those threes, but we've got to take away all the layups.
You've been down to Lakefront Arena now. This will be your second trip, I suppose, Coach. What they don't have a huge home court advantage.
Yeah, I mean, any environment we go into, whether it's here on the road, we talk about having the same mentality if it's our home fans or if it's away fans, if it's, or nobody in the stands. We have to have the same mentality of taking care of what we can take care of what we can control. And that's playing defense and rebounding.
So if you look, you talk about things that you can control. That takes us right over to the standings. So at the moment, you are in, let's see, that would be ninth place. No, that would be 10th place, all alone at 3-12. You have A&M Corpus and McNeese at 4-11, and you don't get to play the Islanders again, so they've got a one-game advantage over you there because of their victory. But you're split with McNeese. How can it play out between the three?
I mean, obviously a lot of different scenarios, but we've got to be able to take care of what we can take care of. And that's again, like we said, it starts tomorrow night. We've got to be able to win, be able to beat New Orleans, and move on from that and be able to get a couple more from there.
You get another shot at Southeastern Louisiana. If the Lions can get into the tournament, you may get another one pretty quick.
Yeah.
The way
New Orleans, I mean, Southeastern, they're playing obviously, some of their best basketball right now. They're going to win the league. They're, sitting there, but playing really well. They play extremely well together. They share the ball. They're extremely connected on the defensive end. We played them super tough here. Middle of January. It was pretty much tie ball game midway through the third, I think. So, we had a great game plan for them, and we'll be ready to go, on Saturday as well. But obviously we got to take care of business tomorrow night first.
Southeastern has been holding the upper hand, but the games that ET's been playing against them, there've been some pretty close tilts, even down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we compete when when we're in the right headspace. Our team knows they're good. And I don't think they'll back down from any challenge. And like I said, we'll be ready.
All right. Healthy as we can be going into it the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the season.
That's right. Yep. Healthy as we've been.
All right. Any lineup changes just based on matchups or just keep
Um,
going with what's working right now?
yeah, we'll go with the same lineup we've had for the past couple weeks, and be able to get Jamie and Keisha in there pretty quick. So,
All right. Well, Coach, I know they're warming up the bus out there, and that's a good place to be on this day. Y'all be ride carefully.
all right.
We'll
Thanks,
see you
Tyler.
down at New Orleans tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, folks, stick around. We'll have more coming up. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Inside Lion Athletics. I'm Charlie Chitwood. We've had Valerie King on already to talk women's basketball. They're headed to New Orleans. Be joining them for that game tomorrow evening. But now we got Brian Dolehide in here to talk about some golf. Guys had the weekend off. Rough go in the Bentwater tournament, coach, but they get to turn right around and go to New Orleans themselves, play down at Algiers, and English Turn Golf Club is kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great track. I mean, coming off of last week, we were pretty disappointed. So we've been trying to get as much work in as possible this week, even though we haven't been able to get out to the golf course very much with this weather we've had coming through. But we've got a great indoor facility on campus that's, provided some extra help in our practice over the past week.
Talk a little bit about that. I was kind of joking about it, but I didn't even realize we had indoor facilities there, and I'll bet a lot of other folks don't either. What can you do inside for Lion Golf?
Just about anything and everything. We have 4 hitting bays. We've got a pretty massive putting green. So, um, along with our TrackMan, we don't have a projector screen like you were asking, but
Yeah, that probably
typically,
means you don't have beer either.
no,
But
we definitely do not. But yeah, typically the players will, choose a little target behind the net and set up the TrackMan, get the numbers they need, and hit the putting green.
so the TrackMan is basically just a camera that is what behind the ball, behind the golfer. How much? Where is it placed?
It's placed about 6 feet behind the, I guess, ball.
Right.
Um, and yeah, it's not really just a camera. It's a radar. It shows you just about every number you need in golf and then some. It'll tell you the spin rate of the golf ball, how fast you're swinging the club, everything. So it's a really cool device and really helpful for players at our level and higher, on the PGA Tour. They all use it.
Wow. So I mean, you don't have to go to Dave and Buster's or Top Golf or anything like that to try and work something out. Um, when the players are inside doing that, talk about the putting green. I mean it's there, it's flat, it's got a cup for them to aim at, or are there ways for you to change the look of the green and give them some different wiggles?
Yeah, we can't change the elevation of the green. Typically, we'll work on straight putts there, getting your stroke down just so when you do get out there, you're feeling a bit more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, we've got about 10 cups on that green, and it gives us a lot of opportunity to set up putting drills and get ready for what we have coming up next week.
Great stuff. Have anybody on staff said, "Hey, coach, can I get the key and go work on my game in there a little bit? Get in front of that tracker?"
Oh, all the guys have 24-hour access, so they get in there all day, every day. If you walk in there randomly, you'll see 2 or 3 players at any given time.
Good deal. You like to find them there. All right, Coach, the Gulf Coast Collegiate is the tournament that y'all will be playing in. Who's going to be competing in that against the Lions?
It's going to be pretty similar teams to what we've had in the past. Typically, University of New Orleans, Nichols, Houston Christian, Rice, schools like that. A lot of schools in the Texas area.
Mm-hmm.
We're really excited to play against some teams we played last week and get right back at them what we lost at Bentwater.
So Brittany Miller's got a whole bunch of teams coming from where they can't play outside right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that, do you get a lot of northern golf teams that come down in the same manner and, try to get some early tourneys in where they can play?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these teams up north, they go to Florida, they go to Texas, they go to California and Arizona for some tournaments because, we're always hosting down in Texas and Florida and California, Arizona. So they have to come down here, with the weather they've been getting, especially right now.
Man, well, how about it? All right, man. Hey, safe travels to you guys on your way down there, and they'll be on the course again. Did you say Saturday through Tuesday?
Yes, so the practice round will be Sunday, and we'll start back up on Monday with 36 holes and 18 on Tuesday and head back.
All right. Hey,
Ideally with the trophy.
I just might find a little time to sneak over there Sunday. That'd be
Come
all
on
right.
out.
Okay, Coach, thanks a lot. Lions up, safe travels, and go get some dubs.
There we go.
All right, folks, stick around. We've got more Inside Lion Athletics coming your way right after this. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Inside Lion Athletics. I got my hair done from the first two episodes. It's cold. Got to go down to New Orleans and it's snowing, even in Jefferson. Y'all stay warm up in Commerce. Anyway, we've got a coach that's dying to get back outside herself and play a game, but there's just certain uh, parameters when you can play softball in cold winter Texas.
Oh yes, we got some snow going right now. It's freezing outside, but had to cancel some games this week, but we're itching to get back.
Well, coming up, and of course, all of this is dependent upon Mother Nature out there, but y'all had games scheduled during the week, and now everything's pushed back at this moment. South Dakota Saturday at 3, North Dakota State Saturday at 5:30, and then just flip the order on Sunday, North Dakota State at 12:30, and then South Dakota at 5:30. You've talked to these coaches, I'm sure. What how are their trips to Texas going so far? They've been rained out, washed out, blown out.
Oh yeah, it's kind of been all over the country right now. Weather and people getting canceled, making trips and not being able to play. So everybody's looking for extra games and hopefully in the next couple weeks we can bring some other teams here that need some games and makeup games to be able to kind of make the ones up that we have missed this last week.
How exactly does that mad scramble work when a team comes from, say, Rutgers, and they come down here, are they here for 2 weeks, and if they lose a game, they start making phone calls?
They normally leave on Thursday and go back home on Sunday. So when they're here, if we lose games, we kind of just lose those games. So this last weekend we played in some elements that um, obviously weren't favorable, but we wanted to make sure that everybody got their games in as much as possible since they spent the money to come down and play. So with the turf, it makes it a little bit easier to be able to work through some of those conditions. This week, it's just the cold factor kind of kicked in with the feels like not being over 28. So
Oh,
that
that's
forced some of
cool.
that.
Pitchers love it because you can jam a hitter and then their hands break right there on the
Oh,
handle.
yes.
So
Yep.
let's talk about the games you did get to play. How'd your Cats do?
We had a lot of promise, a lot of good points. Pitching and defense did well. Overall, we got a couple things that we need to clean up. Offensively, we're taking hacks. We're just a little off right now, but we're making progress and we keep moving forward. We had a really good competitive game against Rutgers and Iowa, um, which was good to see. There's that fight there. There's that, we're working the process. And so I'm excited to get into this week and hopefully get ourselves, on the right path moving forward. We got a really good group. Emma Rodriguez is doing phenomenal job in center field and leading off and hitting really well right now. So she's a real spark in our lineup.
Has she had to make any more Sports Center catches like she did that first weekend?
Not as good, but she's been making a lot of really good plays out there. And so we're excited to see where this week takes us. And, everybody's sticking to the process, which is all I could ask for.
So your alma mater comes down, Iowa. Did you break out any of the old hardware to, show them those conference pitcher of the year awards and all those other things you gathered up?
No, it was good to see him out there though, and competing and being able to, just see what has been, a long-standing tradition with Iowa. So, it's always good to get him down here, and even with Rutgers coming down here, me and Bustos both played with Coach Butler, so it's good to get them out here and being able to, compete and see what we got.
Coach, what about South Dakota and North Dakota State? What kind of teams are they bringing down here, and what do you expect are going to be their strong suits? Where are you going to get your work out, and maybe where you have a strong suit over them?
They're going to be scrappy. So we've played South Dakota already twice. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to be able to put the ball in play. They're going to be able to throw. We just got to make sure that, we're taking advantage of the mistakes offensively, and our pitchers need to come out and just set the tone early, and continue to work through that. North Dakota State's going to be scrappy as well. They're going to have the pitching. They're going to have, hitters throughout their lineup that can produce. And so at the end of the day, we got to put our best foot forward and take care of the ball and take care of what we need to take care of.
Coach, when the players are out there in this kind of weather, I know they all fuss because we did too, in baseball. No, not now, but you get to build on some mental stuff
Oh,
that
yes.
builds up over that time to overcome. How's that working?
It's been really good, actually. We got a really good group of student athletes that are hungry to get out there and get better and produce. So we actually had practice this morning and the locks were frozen at the field. So they were finding ways to be able to unlock so we can get the equipment and go over to the gym at the middle school and be able to still practice today. So mentally we're in a good spot. We're ready to go. They're continuing to find ways to get better and are excited to get ready this weekend.
So when y'all go to the middle school gym and hit, they got something over the windows, right?
Yeah, luckily there's no windows in there, so we're good.
Very good. Pitchers, I mean, everybody's on track. Have you, it's too early to, have anything final set as far as rotations go, but is everything kind of lining up that way, right?
Yeah, we got our pitching staff is very well versed and they're understanding what their rules are each game and each weekend. So obviously that changes week to week a little bit just based on, make sure that everybody is healthy and nothing comes up. But Julia is doing a really good job in those starts. Maddie's doing well. Keep moving forward and making sure that everybody's ready to go when their number's called.
All right. Hey, how's the glove work going?
Good.
Excellent.
It's
Good
working.
on the corners.
Yeah.
Charlie Danger still at third.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Can't wait to see it. Won't be long, Coach. We'll be up there barking out games when the conference starts next month, and that's not far away.
No, hopefully it's better weather too.
All right, I'm all for that. Coach, thanks a lot. Let's Lions
you.
up and get you back to practice. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
All right, folks, there's another segment in the box for Inside Lion Athletics. We got a little bit more to go. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. A little more Inside Lion Athletics. We've had golf, we've had softball, we've talked women's basketball. Now let's talk fast, people. Georgie Pincock, head coach of Lion Track and Field here. Got some folks going to Arkansas this weekend, but it's indoor season, so y'all don't worry about the cold.
Thank goodness. It is cold outside right now. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, it's where do y'all run when it's like this? I mean, do you
Well,
just go out and bundle up and
I think
carry
that's
hand warmers?
yeah, I think that's what a part of what our staff does really well. We're constantly watching the weather. We have a plan that we kind of like to stick through during the week. But if we see that weather patterns are changing, if we know a week ahead of time that weather's going to get cold, we kind of adjust that plan for days within the week.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't adjust for days, we kind of adjust where we warm up. So yesterday, wet and cold, not as cold as today. We brought the team inside. We warmed them up in the field house here. Spent about 45, 50 minutes getting ready to run. And then, we bundled up, got outside, did the work that we needed, and got right back inside.
So that kind of work, is that generally just kind of like maintenance stuff? There's
No, yesterday was a fairly important workout for us.
okay.
This point in the season, we're just shy of 14 days away from our conference championship. So yesterday was kind of that last hit, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure we're prepared. And then really everything from here on out is kind of just that fine tuning and refining to make sure that March 2nd and 3rd we perform at our best.
There you go. All right, there's some inside track stuff we get to talk now. But before we go too much into that, as for what's coming up this weekend, we got to talk about Mr. Fusini. He set another record, 654, wasn't that 651?
5-1.
Coach, I'm not out of the blocks that fast.
Neither am I. And there's not many people that are out of the blocks that fast. So just really proud of him. We had an excellent sprinter a few years ago in JT Smith. He won a USA championship for us in the 60 meters. So to beat a school record as fast as that school record was before is something special.
No doubt. When those marks get lowered like this over the course, and track athletes that are looking for a place to compete, they probably look to see what the marks are at the school they're considering, huh?
Yeah. So, that's kind of a little bit a part of what we're trying to really get out there is that we have a really good sprint program. We have a really good program overall.
Mm-hmm.
Our coaches association, each week they put out a ranking system based on just raw data. So if you look at that 60-meter sprint group, we're ranked number 5 in the nation, behind some pretty powerful schools and ahead of some other powerful schools. So not only is Fusini running really fast, so are our other guys.
That's incredible. He obviously, how much of a lead does he have over like the next best guy in the Southland right now?
The Southland's really strong again this year.
Okay.
I believe we are number 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 2, and 4 in the Southland right now with our top guys.
Mm-hmm.
His teammate Enoch Fosuhine ran 666 a few weeks back at Oklahoma. Another one of our guys, Kingsley Ayabide, ran 6.7. So, that's kind of the top of the Southland. And then you have a bunch of guys that are kind of right on that 70, 71, 72 right there. So he's a good ways ahead. But we don't rely on being ahead.
Right. Yeah, just go finish first or go get them.
Yep.
The meet coming up this weekend. Who's going and why?
Yeah. We'll travel just shy of 40 athletes this week. Again, just about a week out from our conference championship at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really looking to just kind of at that athlete that needs a race or two to sharpen up, an athlete that might be on the bubble of scoring, kind of that 8th position. Just kind of looking at those conference lists and see where people lie, and doing the last, I guess, kind of test for us to see where we need to put people in what events to try to maximize our team points at the conference championship.
There you go. How long of a process is that when, I mean, you get back from the meet and go into work the next day and then you start looking at numbers?
Yeah, I mean, we do it every single week. Our assistant coach, Mark Hameter, he says that he has hundreds of note cards spread out across his house with different scenarios for different kids and what they should be doing different weeks. Um, so I think as soon as we start our season, early January, it's really a constant conversation within our office about what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. And how we do that. You know, one week we think we got a really good plan, then something happens and we adjust. So it's ever moving,
Mhm.
trying to reach that target of winning the conference championship.
Okay. Well, it's just herding kittens when you got 80 of them. You got to get in different places.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. Coach, 2 weeks to go till the championships. Y'all have been in what, four different indoor tracks since
Yep.
we got rolling. How much difference can there even be in a track surface?
Quite a
In
bit. Quite a bit.
Okay.
Some of that, you know, it's just not the surface of the track. When you get on the bank track, you know, some of the banks are a little bit different. Some have a steeper angle, some are a little bit more shallow and flat.
Mhm.
Um, you have Birmingham, where our conference championship is a hydraulic track. So uh, it lowers, the ends lower and it goes flat for the straighter races. And the way a hydraulic track responds is a little bit different than a place like Texas Tech that's always banked.
Yeah.
So you don't focus on those things. You just kind of make mental notes as a coach.
On those on a hydraulic track when they're lifting up the banks like that, is it make that segment of the track a little springy when they get above the undersurface?
I, I I wouldn't say spring. I would go the other way. I think hydraulic
Okay.
tracks tend to be a little more flat, not as bouncy. And I don't know why. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, but you know, every track kind of feels different.
Man. Well, we hope they will do well. All right, man. Well, it's cold up in Arkansas too right now. So y'all have safe travels. You head up what, tomorrow or
Yeah, we'll
uh
leave tomorrow midday. Have a quick practice session tomorrow evening, and then one day competition.
all right. We'll let all the fast ones go. And coach, we look forward to hearing how it goes when you get back.
All right, thank you, Charlie.
All right, lines up, everybody. We got a little more Inside Line Athletics to go. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back to some more Inside Line Athletics. We're wrapping it up this week with Coach Rose, Jaret von Rosenberg, skipper for the men's basketball club. Y'all are headed to a little bit warmer climb as well, but you got to stay home and wait until you go to Hammond for Saturday's game against the Green and Gold Lions at Southeastern.
Yeah, this is the beginning of our week, as it always is. We took yesterday off. We'll watch film today and um, lift and kind of get back into the groove of the week. A lot of respect for how our guys competed, knowing that they were out of the tournament. Um, we got a lot of character in that room, individual character. So good to see that because I've seen teams go the other way when things are going like they are. So. Um, they'll be right back to work. You know, we got a lot of guys that have an opportunity to return next year, and so everything we do right now is just building on next year.
That game against SFA, how much did that game kind of represent the way this season's gone?
Yeah, this season, but it just shows you the league. I would just look, obviously McNeese is at the top, but then the second place team has 4 losses, and then third and fourth place team have 6 losses. Um, so it's a competitive league, maybe more so than it's ever been, adding SFA and RGV. SFA just won 7. I think they won 7 of 8 now. Um, everyone's good. When you're just a little off, we haven't played our best basketball. Even though I think this team is getting better, um, we're getting right there. We're just not getting over the hump. And um, when there's no easy nights, there's just losses out there when you don't play up to par.
Had a couple of shots this season in different ball games. I've forgotten how close TJ's shot was down at UTRGV at the buzzer. And then Khalik Abdul Mateen. It was there, but it was just a little bit offline, and that was that.
Yeah, well, the those weren't heaves either. You know, like we've missed a couple shots where we got good looks. Stonehill game, we had an open three to end the game, and we missed it, and they go down, and the whole sequence happens there at the end. So we played in a number of close games, and you know, for we Southern game came down to one possession. We were able to get a stop. Abilene Christian came down last possession. You know, played a lot of close games. Not enough of them have gone our way. I've, I've got to do a better job, probably early, just making sure that we understand those moments and exactly what we're going to do. But you know what happens? Ball's not. It doesn't go in, so it's a loss, and you got to learn from the game and continue to try to grow. And what we're not going to do is we're not going to coach differently. We're not going to stop trying to get individuals to grow and then help our team get better down here in the last 2 weeks.
So, Coach, and we touched on this really before we started rolling this, but those guys played with so much heart and effort against SFA. And knowing, I mean, that's the first game they play after they've been eliminated from tournament. That's on you and your coaching staff that they came through that way, the right way.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that. You know, it goes back to what I said earlier. The character of our group is really good. You know, individually they care about the name on the back of their jersey, and hopefully they care about what's on the front of their jersey, even though this year hasn't gone the way any single person in the program wanted to or even thought it was going to go. So, you know, you always got to talk that there's a light at the end of the tunnel for most of these guys, as far as another opportunity, another seasons of eligibility left, and for a few of them, this is this is the last time maybe they'll put on a competitive jersey last 2 weeks, and I think it's important for the other guys to understand that that's really what we're playing for now, to send these seniors out on the right note and try to win a couple games here down the stretch.
One of those seniors, Khalik Abdul Mateen, he's played in 127 games as A&M Commerce / East Texas A&M Lion. Part of that, I mean, well, it's COVID. That's how there's a lot of longevity records being set in almost every campus around the country. But what's he been to your program? He's a guy that's come all the way from the Lone Star Conference and playing for you as a true freshman.
Well, he's just a stabilizing person. I've said this before, but he's had very few bad practices in his 5 years. I mean, count him on one hand where he wasn't ready to come compete and have fun and get after it. And his ability to stay injury free is another. That's why it's so hard to play that many games. Not only being somewhere, but you got to be available. And we've been D2 for so long, maybe that record will eventually be broken just because we play more games in our schedule. But having somebody stay somewhere for 5 years and then be available and not good enough to play as a freshman, that whole, just everything has to kind of align to play in that many games. It's not like it used to be you picked your school, that's where you went. You knew you were going to stay there for 4 years. It was just commonplace, very, it was out of the norm to have transfer somewhere else.
Right.
And so, for all those reasons, it's quite an accomplishment, and we'll see if it's ever broken in my lifetime. I don't know.
Is that kind of loyalty to one program from a player coming in, is that going to be just absolutely rare anymore? Can you even look for a player and say, I want you to come play here for 4 years?
It's going to be more common at the higher levels, I think, because there's nowhere to transfer up to, I guess.
Right. Everybody wants to climb the ladder loop.
Well, in those like unique, like they're really good, but but they're not good enough to play in the NBA, maybe, or they're
Mhm.
worried about that. The Zach Edey's, he's an NBA player, but he stayed because he wasn't going to get drafted high. You're going to have those scenarios, I think, where guys stay 4 or 5 years at one place. Um, but at our level, it, it's going to be very uncommon. Just if they're good enough to play early and they help you win, now there's opportunities for them to go up. If they're not good enough to help you win, you've got to look at different options or recruiting over them or something like that. So it's just we're building for each year. You got to build a roster to try to win, and you got to you hope you retain some people. Don't get me wrong, retention's huge.
Mhm.
I just don't know how much it's going to last for 4 or 5 years.
Right. Okay. The focus is on these final games, but you and your staff, you have to look up a little bit on recruiting stuff at the same time. That's year round though.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been going on. It's starting to pick up just because everyone's season is about to come to an end. Portal's about to open. We're trying to do as much preparation on the front end, because the portal's so fast, and um, you know guys are in and gone in 2 days. It's so you got to be prepared. We're trying to get prepared for that, while finishing up strong and not shortchanging these seniors.
How do they even organize the portal for you and the rest of the coaches in America to go in and see what's there?
There's services that do it, and they pull stats, and there's just a lot of different things. But the portal itself is done through the NCAA website where the names are populated. But then there's a lot of softwares that pull clips, do all the like legwork, if you will, so that
Mhm.
you can go through and really. Now people get lost. Don't I mean thousands of names are gonna enter, um, in the same day, or 500 a day. Uh, so it's a lot to go through all of it, but you gotta, we set pretty, we have pretty good parameters that we'll set on the front end so that we can
Mhm.
eliminate people without having to look at them.
So with players that that have been playing and we may have even competed against them, um, do certain names just jump right out at you sometimes when you go
Yeah.
in?
Of course, yeah. It's a small. There's not that many players in college basketball. I know it seems like a lot, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, in the state of Texas, junior college, you kind of know who guys are. Our job's to know who guys are, where they're at,
Mhm.
and kind of what's going on. And that's where the yearly process goes of, you're always looking at how guys are doing, what they're doing, in anticipation for the portal.
Okay, good enough. All right, so Southeastern, they got those big guys up front, but Casey Ugukazi, you can see his game elevating a little bit just from all the extra time on the court.
Yeah, our forwards played really well against SFA. They continue to battle. Uh, they went to the free throw line a ton the first time we played them, um, and a lot of that fouling's okay, but we were too handsy and just grabbing and holding. We need to be physical with our chest and show our hands, and um, we don't want to give up layups, but we got to be more physical than just grabbing guys. That's not physicality. That's just being lazy and getting out of position, and not being locked into discipline. So we played pretty well outside of putting them on the foul line. So it'll be the same approach. We got to limit their offensive rebounds this time. Do a better job keeping off the foul line, and offensively we made them change how they were playing defensively. So we got to continue to play good offense. Another pretty good. We had some shots and possessions we want to have back, obviously, but another pretty good offensive performance, with 13 turnovers and scoring the 70s, and that's the key. We got to get to 70 to win. I think we can play enough defense and hopefully keep both of these teams, down in the 60s to 70 mark, and we got to hit that 70 mark for sure.
All right. Well, Coach, we know what the target is. Then when you get there, we'll have it up on the wall.
You got it.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
the
Hey,
time.
y'all, safe travels. The weather's going to be around here a little bit longer than it will down there. So enjoy the ride, and we'll see you Saturday in Hammond, America.
All right, sounds good.
All right, folks. Hey, that's going to do it for this edition of Inside Line Athletics. Jim Curry, he's busy right now. And boy, it's great stuff. We can't wait to visit with him about it next week. I'm Charlie Chitwood. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay warm.